Hello there, my name is Samantha Jayne.
And I am Paul Devlin.
And you are watching the second series of The Angel and the Exorcist show. Now, as always, I'm going to ask you to click subscribe, ring that bell and like this show if you enjoy it. You will notice something different today. We are outside. So we are looking at crop circles today, which obviously you can't see right now. So that's why we're going up in the air.
So just want to make clear that we don't go randomly standing around in people's fields. We do have permission to film here today, and we also have permission to put the drone up and film.
So we are really lucky today because we have a fabulous guy called Paul with us who is very knowledgeable on crop circles, and he's coming here to share some information with us and give us a little tour of the crop circle.
Hello.
Hello. So how long have you been studying crop circles, if that's the right word?
Oh, a long time, since the year 2000, I think.
Okay.
So what initially sparked your interest into this subject?
Well, previous to crop circles, I had an experience. I was at the age of 14. I was standing in the driveway of my house with my mother and my auntie, and we witnessed a green luminescence travelling very slowly across the sky at about 100 metres. It was nothing I could explain or can explain now. And it sparked my interest in all such things. So that's really where it started.
Okay, and how many crop circles have you been involved with?
I don't know. Loads.
Loads.
I don't, not thousands. No, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say.
Yeah, just here in the UK, or do they?
Yeah,
in
the UK.
Yeah.
We get them globally.
Yeah.
But mostly it's in the southwest of England.
Okay. And
yeah.
how do you look at them? Are you looking at them from a sort of scientific point of view?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of confusion around crop circles, and the confusion is largely created by people that haven't actually been on the ground and looked at them closely. But when you take a close look and you look at the biophysics of the plants, then you can start to understand that crop circles are highly improbably made by human beings.
Yeah.
Some of them may well be. I've only seen 3 in the 12 years that I've been actually on the ground that I knew that were made by people.
Wow.
And that will come as a shock and a surprise, but I'm sorry, but that's my experience.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to see this one. Should we go and have a look?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Sometimes they'll see something like this and they'll confuse it with a crop event, crop circle.
Right.
This is lodging. This is caused by wind.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with crop circles. This little bit here, this is the only access point that I can find.
Wow.
Now, if troops of people had been in here, there would be more than that, wouldn't there? So
Yeah.
that's just the starters.
Yeah.
Now when I look at this event, even before I've been in there, I can see an overall consistency of wholesale bent node crop. Now node bending is one of those things that we call biophysical anomalies, and it's unnatural bending to the shaft of the stalks, the crop, and I'll show you that close up. But there's an overall consistency here. Now also you see these random still standing stalks. Now that's important, because a lot of people earnestly believe that this is done by people with bits of wood. Now if you went in there and you sort of went like that with bits of wood, it would all be flattened, wouldn't it? But here we have this, we've commonly seen still standing stalks. Now that's an anomaly. It's illogical. For me it's normal. We see this very often, but you know, from a man-made point of view, if you want, it doesn't work. So anyway, let's go in to this little bit here. Now talking about node bending, let's just grab one, because this is wholesale over the whole thing. This is a node here, and it's been bent unnaturally, and it will have been like that from day one. And that cannot be due to phototropism, which is like sun seeking. When a plant is knocked down, it will gradually come back up towards the sun to photosynthesize. But if it's happened on day one, and these things usually happen at night, it can't be phototropism, because there's been no sunlight to augment the crop. And this, if you look over here, you'll find this node bending like everywhere. Look, it's everywhere. So this is unnatural. This is not normal. Formation is composed of what I term as elements. They're isolated areas of laid crop that can't be accessed, that haven't been accessed from the outside of the element. This, you see here, well, it's contained. If this had been done by some more mundane means, people with bits of wood, you would expect to see some entry points. There are no entry points. They're all isolated elements. So if we go this way, types of ground lay. This is a sort of a partial ground lay. We don't. Sometimes we will get a mirror finished ground lay that is tightly packed down to the ground, and you get a different. Well, you get a sort of sheen to the ground lay, but this is more textured. It's softer because it hasn't been laid right down. It's been laid. And incorporating all the node bending to give a slightly different sort of feel to crop formation. There's footage of one that goes way back that was actually recorded on analog film, and that seemed to take seconds.
Was that the one with the white balls?
Yes, conjugate rotating balls, and so the feeling is that they are created in seconds rather than minutes or hours or days, and it's usually at night time. But we've never seen, apart from that, we've never seen them in the day. I've seen one in the day that we know was made in the day because it wasn't there an hour before. This is a tram line. Right. Okay, these two tracks here are where the tractor would have goes.
So there wouldn't have been
there wouldn't have been disturbance.
But I'm going to show you what I've coined as a energy leak, and it comes under the heading of probability anomaly. Some years ago, I realised there was something a bit unnatural going on in the tram lines. So if we go up here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just before we get to the energy leak, I just let you see this swirly bit of ley that meanders around there. Then along the edge of that element there is like a border, and then the crop has been combed away from that. It's probably about, it's sort of 200-300 mils wide, and then it's combed away. There's a tram line that goes, one wheel there, another wheel there. You can clearly see where the tractor's been. And this is done for spraying and fertilising and such like. Now, you see this line of still standing crop that goes up the tram line here, and to a lesser extent up there. We'll see it more up there, but certainly it's here, and you can see it's been combed away from this still standing crop. Can you differentiate between this ley here, a line of still standing, and then a combing away?
I can see the difference.
And then a resumption of this type of ley here. Now, my theory about this is that a tram line is empty, it's void. So when it's like an energy has latched on to the mass that is the crop, and when it encounters the void that is the tram line, it loses its its grip, if you like. And so it releases the crop, so it remains still standing. But when it comes that the energy re-engages with mass, I'm calling it mass differentials here.
I understand.
Then it grips and it then resumes the previous type of ground ley. You can see it here. It's been a bit knocked about by the wind a bit, but we'll go up there and we can see it more. But that's the idea. The hypothesis is either to do with mass differentials or moisture differentials, because the crop in a tram line is usually less mature than outside. Anyway, let's go up this way.
if you were stood outside the crop circle, would there be a significant difference in the way that you feel energetically within it?
Emotionally. Yeah, I mean, initially when I started all this, I felt quite euphoric and an enormous sense of bliss. But I think that's just the human being in me responding to a unique experience rather than something more exotic and unexplainable.
Right.
Because now I don't feel quite as pumped up as that.
Right.
I take more of a sort of a pragmatic view of it, and I'm far more relaxed about it now than I used to be. Before, in the early days, it was all ridiculously exciting, and people got really, creative about the theories and what they thought it was all about, and people used to bring artifacts in and almost worship this and make it into a sort of like a temporary temple, if you like.
So if you say that like the excitement for you isn't there as much now, what drives you to come down from your part of the country to this part of the country on a regular basis to see these phenomena? What is it that drives you if the excitement's gone?
Right, well, it's got to be. Well, I quote Jaime Maussan, who is quite a famous TV presenter from Mexico, and I met him, and he did an interview with me, and we were talking about exactly this, and he said, yes, I agree with you. It's probably the most important subject that mankind is faced with, in truth, because this is not normal. This is not natural. And you can try and explain it away in all sorts of, you have all sorts of theories, but the bottom line is, this is an exotic phenomena. This needs looking at very closely, and the longer you do it, the more data you have, and the more you're able to cross-reference and become more confident in your, I wouldn't say conclusions, but that's a word that we generally don't like to use, but you can become more confident in what you're dealing with.
It's certainly, when you see a crop circle from above or you see a picture, but actually being stood in one, you get the size of the thing.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was this size.
It's massive.
Oh no, this is quite small.
Is this a small one?
I mean,
Is it
I would
really?
say that this one, well, what's this one? About 80 metres across, or some such, give or take, maybe 100. I don't know. But we've had them much bigger than that, twice that size, maybe more, like massive. They appear just like that overnight. We've got about this time of year, when we get most of our crop circles, well, we got about, to be generous, say 5 hours of good darkness. I mean, you to create something like this accurately, even with TST or total station theodolite technology like is used in the surveying industry for civil engineering or house rebuilds, and it would take days, because you've got to map it out. People don't appreciate the practicality. They get more wrapped up in this sort of own exotic sort of personalised theories about it, but they don't actually get the practicality, nuts and bolts. I'm a nuts and bolts bloke. I've spent most of my life in property and restoring property. I know what it takes to get from A to B. If I was tasked with actually making this, if somebody gave me any amount of money Well, I would, at the very least, I'd need some TST. I'd need a total station theodolite, and I'd have to have markers, and I'd have to flag it all out, just like I would if I was
Nowhere to
doing
begin, would you?
a building a new building development. There's no way you could do this with a piece of rope and a bit of wood. And you get people that are dressed for the occasion. They'll come in with feathers, drums.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, artifacts. You know, skulls, incense. You know, and all sorts of stuff. And that's their way of life, and they make an association with that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
But you know, from my point of view, I'm just a practical, pragmatic. I'm trying to record and try to understand as much as you can to help and to actually share this with humanity, because humanity needs to know about this.
Yeah. And are you sharing all of that online? Have you written a book?
If you go to my website, which is a research website, it's called Core Group Initiative.
Okay.
.com, all one word, Core Group Initiative, and I've written, I don't know, about 90 odd articles on this subject, looking at all aspects of the subject, and I don't know of any other website out there that does it like I, because nobody has been able to research this like I have. There are crop circles with obvious meaning. We had one in 09, and it was quite an accurate representation of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Now that it symbolises rebirth, renewal, as a lot of us already know. But the overall meaning, in my view, is this is communication. They give us different patterns, and you know, some of them you can interpret mathematically or geometrically or from a pictogram point of view. But overall, the meaning, in my view, is just simple communication between something far more intelligent. It has to be more intelligent and capable than mankind. So that there's something that's outreaching to mankind here. And unless we embrace it and we stop resisting it, we probably won't evolve beyond where we are, squabbling, arguing about, you know, the origins of crop circles. But I think there is a more profound link with something of a much higher order going on here, and this is a first step mode of contact.